All right, there we go. My name is Steve Beck. I'm here in Morris, Illinois. It's always my pleasure to get the call started every Wednesday, every Sunday night. Had a little Motown music for you tonight, and I hope you enjoyed that. Um, we always start our call off with our signature message, and I don't see the person that I had lined up to deliver it, so I guess I'm going to pinch hit. If you don't have a copy of this signature message, reach out to some of the veterans here and they can show you where to get it. But it goes like this. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. For the new folks, veterans already know this, but for the newer associates, that's something that you're going to want to post somewhere where you'll see it every day, read it every day, and eventually internalize it. So parts of it or all of it will come up automatically in conversations that you're having with people. It's a very useful tool. So with that, it is time to go first to our book review host, and that would be Miss Jane Lehman. Go ahead, Jane.
Good evening. Well, if anybody saw the leadership show tonight, you saw Darnell Self. And I loved one of the things that he said at the Super Saturday that he gave today. And it was, if you don't trust yourself enough to read a book, how will you trust yourself to earn six figures? I thought, wow, that hit home. So here we are with our book review, and I'd like to introduce tonight Lisa Holmes, who's going to be reviewing a book that most of us have read because Mel Robbins was a keynote speaker, I should say, at convention. She's going to be reviewing I forgot the name of the book.
The 5-second rule.
That's right, 5-second rule.
Thank you, Jane. First, I'd like to thank Linda Beck for introducing me to this book. I was not aware of the speaker or of this book, and Linda and I were talking one day, and I was kind of down in the dumps, and she suggested this book, and I read it 3 times in the entire weekend. And so it really has been really helpful. And I'm just going to go through what it is, why it works, and how you can put it into practice every day, because it's really helped me get back on track. So the 5-second rule is a metacognition tool that was discovered by Mel Robbins one night. She literally stumbled across this after, she said, having too many adult beverages and watching late night TV, and saw a cartoon of a rocket taking off. And the cartoon says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And she said, yep, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to start that tomorrow. She said that her personal life, her finances, her family, her job was in an absolute wreck. And she started the 5-second rule that very next morning to help her with her problem of hitting the snooze button every time it went off. She said sometimes she would do that 2 or 3 times in the morning. Her alarm would go off. She would hit snooze. Her kids missed the bus. She forgot things that she needed to take, for school. And she said every day was just, it was just a mess, because she had no direction, and all she was doing was living with worry and anxiety and procrastination. So what a metacognition tool is it's something that is, it's a prompt for your brain. And so it's something that you can do yourself to help stimulate your brain to work with you instead of against you. So when you start saying 5, 3, 2, 1, go, it activates your prefrontal cortex, which is our prefrontal cortex is our fight or flight, our emotions, our fear, our anxiety, our worries, our happiness, and our joy. But when you're using the 5-second rule, it stops your brain from going into the series of worry and fear and procrastinating. The most important thing you can do after you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go is physically move. For her, the alarm went off, and instead of hitting the snooze, she got up and turned the alarm off. She was up, she was moving. And the reason that 5 seconds is so important is that that's the amount of time that it takes our brain to try to shut us down, to try to block us from doing what it is that we want to do. So by making a sound, you've got to say it out loud. You can't just think it. You've got to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then you take action. If it's pick up the phone, if it's walk to the other room, if it's to start a small project, no matter what it might be, it just gives you the impetus to take that step. And what happens over time, at least what's happened with me, is these small victories start to stack one on top of the other and really help you push through procrastination, anxiety, fear, worry. I'm sure I'm not the only person that struggles with these things from time to time. The key of moving is incredibly important. You know, you can't just say it and then do nothing. You have to physically take action. For those of you that have followed Tony Robbins, perhaps you might remember many, many years ago, he talked about a study of people that were depressed that were in a study, and the person conducting the study told these depressed people that every day they needed to stand in front of a mirror and smile the biggest, goofiest grin that they could for 20 minutes. And so they found out the people that actually did this, their bodies followed, their mind followed their bodies. So the movement was their face smiling. They were looking at their smiling reflection. And over time, when they did this day after day, their depression started to lift. So that's the importance of counting down and taking action immediately. You are short-circuiting your prefrontal cortex that wants to protect you from doing something that might cause you harm. So it couldn't be any more simple than that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Get up and physically move. Take an action, no matter how small it is, even if it's going to your desk and moving your stapler from the right side to the left side. You've done something to back up, to teach your brain that when I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, I'm going to go do something. So it doesn't work in the reverse. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go, it doesn't work that way, because your brain wants to go on to 6 and 7 and so forth. So you've got to count backwards to give your brain a place that you are going to stop. And when you say go or blast off, whatever works for you, your brain will start to know, boy, I guess she's serious about this. So when she counts down, so over time, your brain decides that it's not going to try to stop you anymore, because you're just going to go anyway. So what worked for me is that I just found out in a very short period of time that with these small course corrections of taking action, I could change my trajectory in one 5-second decision at a time. And I can't think of anything that's more simple. It taught me what to do. I know the changes that I need to make, but it was that first step that got me to actually take the step, take that next movement to do something, to act, shut my brain down, and move forward. So anybody have any questions?
Well, we're going to move forward with that. Lisa, awesome.
Okay.
The question should be is, where do I buy the book? And they can go to Amazon for that.
100%.
Right. So as you were talking, I absolutely loved it. We also heard about the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So imagine implementing the 5-second rule along with The Miracle Morning, and we'll be blasting off right away. Fantastic review. Thank you so much. And we're going to go back out to Linda Beck.
Well, you can call me Linda, but
Okay, Steve, sorry.
that's okay, Jane. Thank you, Jane and Lisa. Great review of a great book. I remember standing in a long line at convention to buy Mel's book after she was the keynote speaker. And I've since read a couple of other books that she's put out, and she has a podcast. So they're all excellent, guys. Look for all of them. They'll all be beneficial for you. Our next segment is something that we actually kind of threw together about a month ago when we needed to fill a little time on the call. And we showed a couple of videos from prospects, and the feedback from all of you was so positive that it's become a regular feature. And here to introduce tonight's video Miss Annette Szobar.
Hello, everybody. Great Zoom so far. We have so many new videos in Prospect, and there's videos that have been around for a while that, quite frankly, I haven't even looked at. So tonight, Steve, if you want to pull the next one up, and then I'll talk about it for a second after we see it.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. All right.
We're not seeing anything, Steve.
I know, I'm having a little problem. I think we should be able to go now. Seeing anything now?
One of the ways I used a Legal Shield membership was when I was driving home one night in the middle of the night with my husband. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were about a mile from our house, and we got pulled over. He was in his car, I was in mine, and I got nervous, because whenever I see the lights, I get really nervous. And so I just pushed the button on my Legal Shield app and called my lawyer. And they were on the phone with me, and they waited with me throughout the whole time to make sure that everything was okay. And it ended up not being a big deal, but it was so nice to know that I had access at this time of night, just in case there was a problem.
Thanks, Steve. I love that testimonial, because even if you have a gazillion dollars and can afford any attorney, you're probably not going to get one that quick as you do when you tap that app with Legal Shield. That you can find in Prospect. It's under testimonials, Legal Shield membership, routine traffic stop. It's number 3440. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Annette. And now it's time for our featured speaker this evening, Mr. Mike Bishop. Mike is a Millionaire Club member. He is a $100,000 ring earner. He's the former Group Vice President for Oregon and is currently Regional Director for Oregon. He has built a team of ring earners and Millionaire Club members and enrolled over 4,000 members. Mike coaches youth basketball. He volunteers as a charity auctioneer, so he might talk really fast tonight. And he has written a book, The 10 Core Philosophies. Mike, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Beck. I appreciate that. And hello, Legal Shield family. Certainly my pleasure to join you here from Wilsonville, Oregon. I'm running hard. You know, it's funny how your Sundays get filled with things you enjoy. A little church, a little word this morning. Frankly, some time spent getting ready to help people that want to take advantage of the book and make sure that was taken care of. But my biggest fun was sitting down with our team. They gave me this picture. It was our end of the year season get together, potluck. And I've been able to spend anywhere from 2 to 4 nights a week and about 3 weekends a month for the last 3 months, coaching an 8th grade girls team. You know, my daughter played. I know John and I share the love of basketball in common. And the pleasure of Legal Shield is being able to do what you want with who you want, as often as you want, for as long as you want. And I will never forget hearing that in a network marketing meeting, even prior to Legal Shield, but certainly when I saw Legal Shield and I understood the value of the proposition, the fact that we can make this service as professional as we wanted to make it. I mean, nothing against, you know, looking beautiful with great makeup and some of those things, but that wasn't for me. But the opportunity to share Legal Shield and to chase that dream of freedom and to know that there was a real opportunity to have that freedom, and now to be able to live in that truth, to be able to live that freedom, knowing I can literally do is what I want with who I want for as long as I want, is just incredible. And it has helped me feel like I can really give back to my community and give back to the world. And what better business can we be involved in one that allows us to feel like we're giving back to the world? That when we lay our head down for the last time, we know that the world is in some measure better than when we found it. And I 100% believe, and that's why 25 years later, I am still an evangelist for Legal Shield. And I hope, and I always make sure everybody knows what I do Some people say, oh, he's in business. You know, I don't, oh, let me share with you what I do. Give me a couple minutes, or let's sit down for a cup of coffee. In fact, my next goal will be to sit down with the parents who hopefully whose respect I've earned, to share with them how Legal Shield works. So just take another about 4 or 5 minutes here and talk about how the knowledge and the wisdom and the philosophies that I've been able to learn from Legal Shield, I've been able, what I hope to distill in about 10 core philosophies. Yes, I wrote this book. I don't know if you guys can see it, called the 10 Core Philosophies. Anyway, you can go to OregonLegalShield.com. I just threw it up there now. I'm frankly in the middle. You know, my first goal was to get the book written and then to get it edited and proofed, and it's still probably in process a little bit, but to get to the brass tacks of the 10 core philosophies, I just want to cover a couple with you tonight to kind of give you a taste and a feel for what I believe are things that we can base our life on. Number one, the number one core philosophy, in my opinion, is I am responsible. And I think we know that that's personal development 101, taking responsibility for our life, taking responsibility for our choices. And sometimes we fall in the trap of thinking like, well, I have to do this. Well, you really kind of have to evaluate that and ask yourself, is it something you have to do, or is it something you choose to do? And sometimes it is something we have to do because of a choice that we've already made, right? In fact, I have to get my kids ready for school when they were that age. Well, that's probably true. Although we also had the ability to have our sister-in-law live with us. She was able to help get the kids ready for school on days that I had to be at a meeting or something like that. So the subtext of that is, I am responsible. I do not blame others. And I realize that my greatest power and responsibility is in my power of choice. And so just know, every time you give that up to somebody else, you feel like somebody's making you do something, you have to realize you have the choice in that matter. You have the responsibility ultimately, both in terms of it's a power that you have, and it's a responsibility that you have to yourself, to your goals, to your dreams, and ultimately to your family. Because most of us, our priorities in the right place, we make sure that our family is a priority as well. Number two, I have a positive attitude. I look for the good in people and situations. I realize that I alone can and do control my attitude. Now, that last little action word there, do, we realize we can control our attitude. We got to make sure that we are controlling our attitude in many cases, because it can easily sort of spin out of control. I feel a little down today. I feel a little tired today. I feel like I'm at the end of my rope. I feel frustrated. Those are obviously, it's okay. I've learned to have the feelings. It's okay to express the feelings. We just need to do that in order to relieve ourselves of that negative feeling and go into a positive feeling. I feel challenged. I feel like I'm getting a lot accomplished, and that's why I'm busy. You know, busy is a 4-letter word I got out of my vocabulary a long time ago, because I want to live in a place of choice. I control my own schedule ultimately. So why would I, you know how it always, it's a code word that I use to get people that maybe aren't actually effective. Oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Well, actually, you have exactly as much time as everybody else. You've just chose to put yourself in a busy state, which, you know, could be good. I got one of those quiet, anybody ever get a quiet compliment? So I gave this book away to the kids on my team, not to the parents, to the kids, because I think it's perfect for middle school, teenagers that are kind of developing their philosophies as well. And she's like, well, let me get this straight. She mentioned to somebody, you own a business, you coach our kids, you coach mentioned I have a rap album, rather of a co-coach, and you wrote a book. She goes, I need to be better with my time. So that's a nice little compliment to give. I mean, you know, you start to realize that I don't watch a lot of TV. I'll definitely catch a share of ball games. I would rather go to a concert like I did last night, as the mask mandate has ended here in Oregon. We're pretty excited. But to be able to do those fun things, all because of the choices that we made over the years. And one of my biggest other goals besides freedom, I guess it falls in line with freedom, is never being able to say, I can't afford that. Never being able to give up the choice to say, I can't afford to do that. If it's a concert, if it's a ball game, if it's a particular set of seats, I mean, we're planning on going seeing Hamilton coming up, the Broadway play, and just to know that, sometimes I choose not to do things because they're too expensive. That's still a choice. It isn't that I can't afford it. I just choose not to do it. It's not worth it. And so to live in that place, in that space, I believe it really comes from your philosophies. It's important to know what we do in Legal Shield. And I know there's lots of great nuts and bolts. You guys have a strong foundation in what to do in Legal Shield with this organization and leadership of Mr. Drennan and all the other ringers on the team, including Miss Karen Ashbreg, who I've worked with for many, many years. I see Danny Golden on here as well. Had the chance to visit her out in Colorado as I'm building my team out there. So my youngest daughter is playing basketball at University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, just finished her freshman year. My middle daughter is a national team rower for the U23. She won the world championship last year. Looking forward to the Olympics and getting her master's all paid for through rowing at Oregon State. My oldest finished her college career in 3 years and now has put out a music album. And again, I truly believe that's all because of the philosophies. What we do is important, but it's how we think that is truly most important of all. So I really appreciate a few minutes with everybody. To be honest, I didn't check the time, but I feel like that's about 10 minutes. And if there's one thing Legal Shield has taught me, it's get off the stage when you're done. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. If I have time, more questions. If not, that's fine too.
Mr. Bishop, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and experience with us. I know this bunch is an avid group of readers, so I want to make sure that they know how to order your book. I believe you said it's available through OregonLegalShield.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. You'll look at the menu, the second little after home. It's 10 Core Philosophies book. Click there, and with shipping, $14.95 for the book. And then there's some discounts there. Just email me if you want multiple copies to be able to give as gifts or to friends or to your team. And we can do a price break for that as well.
Great. Thanks for that offer. I know I'll be ordering it probably right after I get off this call. Or more accurately, Linda will be ordering it because she's our CFO of our team. So she handles the bucks. She'll place the order. I can see her smiling and laughing at me there.
It's important to know your role, especially as a husband.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm one of those, here's my paycheck, do what you need to do. So it works out well. So our next segment is to go to some announcements. And before I add anything to it, first going to go out to Mr. John Drennan.
Hey, thanks so much, Steve. I think Linda's already ordered the books, but I just wanted to come on for a minute and let everyone know, the importance of this business and in being able to meet people and make friends. Mike lives in Oregon. I live in New Hampshire. We've gotten to know each other through events, through the business, hanging out on the beaches, on performance club trips. And Mike, I just wanted to say thanks for coming on. I've got your book here. I've read it. I enjoyed it. And Jane, I do want to do a book report, if you will, a book review on this, but
Next
looks
week,
like a lot of
John.
people are gonna, I'm sorry?
Next week.
Okay. And anyhow, so I just wanted to make the point, you meet amazing people through this journey of Legal Shield. And Mike, I just commend everything you've done, your leadership, all your achievements, and the great achievement of a wonderful family. So that, Steve, let me go back to you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, John. While we're on the subject of announcements, I want to invite you all to join us on our morning stretch call. It's every morning from Monday through Friday. Starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central. It's a great way on Monday to get yourself motivated, because we do Motivation Mondays, usually with Lee Perry, and I know Lee's on the call, so maybe she can confirm that she's doing that tomorrow. Also, don't forget our team Zooms. They are Monday night at 7 Central, Tuesday night at the same time. No, wait a minute. We've changed the schedule. I want to make sure I get it right. Tuesday is at 11:30 Central. And then Wednesday evening at 7, Thursday evening at 7, and Friday afternoon at 11:30. The Monday and Wednesday calls are about the membership and the opportunity. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are membership only. And then Friday is our newest addition to the lineup, and that is a Zoom for small business owners about our business plans. We have our team of myself and Linda and Annette have 2 more Sundays to go to round out our quarter. We have another excellent featured speaker lined up for next week. And Annette, you did the work. Do you want to let the cat out of the bag, or should we build the suspense for a day or two?
Oh, I'll let the cat out of the bag. It's Tony Petrell.
Yay! Well known and loved by many of the people that you see here. For our new associates, you're going to want to be on next week. Tony is an amazing speaker. Also, after the month of March, we have a new team. Jane Lehman and Brenda Daniels will be taking over the call starting with the first Sunday in April. If you have any ideas, Jane's biting her nails already. If you have any ideas or suggestions for them, things that you'd like to see on the call that we haven't done up to this point, I'm sure they want to put their own stamp on it for the next quarter. So please send your suggestions to them. So I'm tired of talking. Had a lot to say. We're going to go to our motivational moment and pinch hitting this week. We have Mr. Chuck Dodge. Chuck, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And I put together from different sources 5 short quotes on discovery. And tonight from Lisa and the 5-second rule and from Mike, we've certainly experienced the opportunity to discover some things. So the first quote is by Marcel Proulx. And he says, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And William Blake said, if the doors of perception were cleansed, then everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. Then there's this little book, you've probably seen it, maybe read it, called The Little Prince. And just to pull an excerpt out of that, it says that the real seeing is not even a physical activity, but a matter of the heart. And that's where you've seen that quote, it is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And Galileo, the astronomer, said, you can't teach anybody anything. You can only help a person find it within himself. And finally, John Dewey said, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. All quotes related to our speakers and also discovering things in our lives. So back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Chuck. Great job pinch hitting for Phyllis. I wish my White Sox had a pinch hitter who was just as good. All right. Before we close out with our video, let me stop the recording.